Good morning, Anchorage! Yes, it's Spike Pit here, folks. Colin Green, the Spike Pit. I'm done working. The weekend is officially starting here. So, I've had a pretty hard week. It's worn me down, but do I care? I do not, because I am relentless. I am relentless in my pursuit of gaming. Played some D&D last night with my youngest. Just come through the front door and he said, "Oh, Dad, are we playing D&D tonight?" So I'm going to have to rustle something out of the hat. I kind of, if I'm honest, I probably saw it coming. So, yeah, I've got a few ideas. But, yeah, we had a cool game last night. And then tomorrow and Sunday, I'm off to another local convention. I was at one last weekend at Concrete Cow. This weekend I'm going to ClinchCon, which is like a more invitation only affair in a small hall in a village out in the sticks, and that'll be super cool. However, it is board gaming, but that's fine, man. That's fine. Okay, so let's get this thing started. I've got a few call-ins. If you notice in the background it's kind of noisy, that's because I've got my eldest son there, the funky drummer, playing in the background, and I don't want to put him off his practice, so we'll just see how it comes out. First up then, let's see.
Hey Colin, it's Cody M here. I was just listening to your last episode where you were talking about the Appendix N Book Club podcast, and I have to agree, it's a great podcast. They've covered quite a bit of the Appendix N so far, and it's pretty interesting to listen. And it's cool because if you're not sure which book you want to pick up, you can just pop in, listen to a quick episode, and go from there. Another one you should check out if you like the Appendix N Book Club is the Sanctum Sacorum. They kind of do the same thing. They go through the Appendix N, but then they apply it specifically to Dungeon Crawl Classics. So they stat out some of the creatures that they encounter in these novels, and or NPCs or locations or what have you. Anyway, you should check it out. And I guess I'll talk to you later, but take it easy.
Okay, folks, so that was Cody M. Cody the Mysterious, the man from moderating the Audio Dungeon Discord channel. If you've not been on the Discord, Jason Hobbs and Jose and somebody else I'm forgetting. Well, basically, Audio Dungeon Discord channel, that's the place to go if you want to sort of hang out and chat with fellow anchorites, friends, fans of Hobbs and Friends and Hex Talk and all the sort of Hobbsonian stuff that you might think about, and OSRE type things. And Cody, he's a moderator on the Discord, and he'll help you out with your technical issues if you've got them. He's sort of like, he's always on there. I don't know how he gets to be on there all the time. This is a subject for much debate. But he's on there all the while, getting conversations going and chatting with people. And he's always got his finger on the pulse. And, you know, in fairness, he's a bit of a younger guy, but for sure he knows his stuff. He's always got helpful tips and advice, and generally what we would call in the UK, down south, we would call a diamond geezer. So there you go. That's one for the fellas across the pond. A diamond geezer. A little colloquialism. Good grief. Okay, so we'll be hearing from Cody later. So thanks for calling in, mate. Always appreciated. What we got next? Wow, I'm getting ahead of myself in my enthusiasm to push on. I forgot to say, yes, Sanctum Sacorum and the Appendix N Book Club. Yeah, like I said before, the book club really cool. But I have listened to Sanctum Sacorum, and that's also really good. And every time I listen to it, it makes me get that sort of urge to dig out my DCC and get it to the table. But oh man, there's so many games, isn't there? You know, and sort of so little time, really. But I'm sure there's plenty of people listening that know that feeling.
Hey Colin, Rich from Cockatrice Nuggets. Wishy-washy game design. Well, I think that's why you're tinkering with death saves, right? There's a lot that's encoded in 5th edition that is rulings, not rules. And instead of using a rules light system and doing away with a lot of their rules, they put in these wishy-washy rules where, illusions, how do they work? It's kind of hard to tell. There's a lot of little things in 5th edition that are just up to a DM. And I don't like some of that stuff, you know? I like to be told, hey, this is what this does and this is how it works. Not, this is what it does, you figure out how it works. But I think that's why you're tinkering. And I don't think there's anything wrong with tinkering, man. So keep on at it.
So that was Rich Fraser. Cheers, Rich. Cockatrice Nuggets. This is Anchorcast. And if you're not listening, check it out. I did a shout out on my last episode. And I think he's doing a really good job. Now, I want to pick out 2 key phrases from what he had to say. One is wishy-washy rules, and the other is tinkering. Where'd you start? Okay, so I've been doing some thinking. I put a shout out to everyone who's listening to kind of chip in with their thoughts on hacks and like home rules, house rules for 5e. I've had a reasonable amount of feedback over a few episodes, and I'm in a little bit of a quandary. If anybody was listening to Arfed, I don't know what he phoned into. Who did he phone into now? I can't remember, but Arfed, my brother, Diz, he is not a big fan of house rules, seemingly. And that's quite understandable. I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan, but like Rich was saying, it's almost, if you're playing 5e, it's almost impossible not to kind of tinker a bit because of the other thing, the wishy-washiness. I'm pretty sure I've said it before, but sometimes you just want a rule system that's going to kind of lay it out there, nail their colours to the mast and tell you, this is what you do, like the 10 Commandments, from above. You will do this. But not the case with 5e, unfortunately. So I've been mincing around with death saves. The other thing, so we're getting on to something I wanted to talk about. So let me stop there, let me pause there and just say thanks again to Rich Fraser. You're knocking it out of the park, mate. Let's hear another call in.
Hey Colin, Tim Shorts from Gothridge Manor here. Completely understand why you edited it, and I apologize for dropping F-bombs. I forgot you got little ones listening to it, so I will refrain from excessive explicit language there. So as far as 5e goes, my rants for the short rest are a little bit notorious. Not a big fan of those, but sometimes it's one of those deals where if you're going to play the game, just play the game. Sometimes when we tweak with it, it just kind of messes with the system or whatever too much. Because I know sometimes I've tried to make 5e more like a OSR game, and it's just it doesn't work the way I want it to work. So I just play, BX Essentials, a game that does fit what I want to do and everything. So sometimes it's hard to fit the square peg in the round hole.
Yeah, nicely put, Tim. Tim Shorts, Gothridge Manor. Check him out if you haven't already. Check out his Patreon as well. He's got a bunch of stuff on there. Little adventures, maps, NPC cards, all manner of stuff. A embarrassment of riches. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, I think, Tim. Square peg, round hole. Sometimes, well, this is my problem. So, okay, I'm for tinkering. I'm not for tinkering. Colin the Conflicted. That's what I should call myself. I don't know what to do for the best, really. I kind of agree with Rich, tinker away. I agree with Tim, don't tinker, play something else. Oh, and it's worth noting, I've just been on drive-through and I've got myself a hard copy of BX Essentials Core Rules coming, so I'm going to go through that. I've got the PDF. I've had a quick look. It looks pretty sweet, but there are a few quirky things with BX that I'm not totally cool with. So, perish the thought. There could be some tinkering.
Hey, Colin, this is Chuck with Playing It Wrong. Sorry to hear about your PvP stuff. Follow everybody's advice. Talk it out and see what happens. But on your 5e death saves thing, I had an idea. I haven't tested it yet, but I think it might be fun. Basically, the rules stay the same. It's just that the fallen character doesn't make their saves until somebody checks on them. So if it takes the party 5 rounds to get to that character, they make 5 death saves, and they might be dead before the party checks. Pretty simple, doesn't change the rules, but it puts a little bit of extra tension and excitement into the session and the combat encounter. All right, Colin, keep up the good work, man. Thanks a lot.
So that's Chuck Foreign from Playing It Wrong on Anchor. Yeah, death saves. I think that's an interesting idea, Chuck. It reminds me of something that I think it's DCC, Dungeon Crawl Classics. Someone goes down in combat, they're like unconscious, and then when everything settles down after the combat or whatever, you go over to your casualty or your potentially dead character, and they make a roll to find out whether they've survived or expired. I forget what the name of the roll is, but it's just a one-off thing, and they turn them over, and they either, oh no, they're dead, or wait, they're okay. Like I say, I've read DCC, I haven't played it, and it's all a little bit sketchy in my mind now. But I think what you're talking about is a similar thing, but you're like ramping it up a little bit. So if you leave them too long, they've got to make more rolls. So yeah, that could work. However, I think I may have left it all a little bit too late in the campaign for making kind of a death-related rule change. We've been playing in this campaign that I've been running. We've been playing over 2 years, and I've had a couple of like side conversations. I've talked to my kids and stuff, and I think I'd get a lot of resistance to changing the death save rules that are in the player's handbook. So I'm going to leave it as it stands for now. Play some other systems, try them out. But I'm drawing a curtain across death saves for now, and I'm going to go rules as written. But yeah, I've got a sneaky suspicion that it's not the best.
Hey, Colin, this is Cody M again. I was just calling in about not your previous episode, but the one before that. I think it's super cool you're out supporting your local conventions. That's pretty important, especially in our hobby. That's what kind of keeps this thing rolling. And I'm glad that your friendly fire incident was all wrapped up. Sounds like you had a good conversation with the DM and the player and everyone involved. So yeah, I'm glad you got a wrap on that, bud. Anyway, I look forward to more episodes from you, sir, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.
So that was the last of my call-ins for this episode, and that's the magnificent, magnanimous, mysterious Cody M, all the M's. Yeah, I do like a local con. Yeah, as folks who are regular listeners will know, I do get a little bit anxious. I suffer a little bit of anxiety at times, and super big conventions tend to be a bit triggery for me. I don't exactly know why. Yeah, I don't really get social anxiety so much. It's just that I just get anxious. I don't know what it is. for me, my anxiety is a bit of a sort of stage fright thing. Well, that's what I compare it to. Funny stomach, just maybe don't sleep so well the night before. Just, I don't know, just feel a bit nauseous and stuff. But thankfully, with the smaller cons and the ones that I'm a regular at, especially this one that's coming up is basically a family and friends type of thing. There maybe be only 20 to 30 people, and we're just sitting around playing board games. That's no sweat at all. And it's a 2-day thing. It's near enough that I just drive up there with Arfed and my eldest son, and then maybe my mum or my dad or my mum and dad sometimes go, and Arfed's partner. So it's pretty chill. And you've got to support these things. It's a good chance to meet up with old friends and maybe make a few new ones. So thanks for calling in, Cody. Take care of yourself. And call in again soon. Right. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about was I've been playing this one-to-one gaming again. Tim was talking about it. I've been talking about it. It's been on the anchor, and the thing I want to talk about, it ties in with the other thing that's been going around on Anchor, this Henchman and Hirelings thing. I'm looking for a mechanic, a game mechanism to capture the feel of a squad, a kind of squad. So, like, if you think of a party as a squad, so you're playing a one-to-one game, and then you've got like a little squad of guys with you. I'm looking for the right mechanic to capture that feel. So, 5e, page 250. There's some rules for like mob rules, and it's a sort of it's some sort of math. There's a chart that tells you, based on armour class and to hit bonus of the attacker and one thing and another, if you've got so many attackers, you'll get this many hits against whatever armour class. Now, that's okay. Yeah, I could work something along those lines. The other thing I was thinking about was taking, say you got a party of, say, 3 first level fighters that are hirelings or henchmen, whatever you want to call them. So they got an attack each, and they maybe do anything from a D8 to D12 damage with perhaps a bonus or not a bonus. Do you take their attacks and go, so that, right, that's a swarm of guys, or patrol of guys, 3 attacks, and they do 3 times whatever their weapon damage is, and you just, whoever, the player, the DM, whatever, whoever's controlling them, just uses them as, plays them as like a kind of a swarm. So that was one idea I had. So we've got mob rules or swarm rules. The other thing I was thinking about, and I toyed with, I sort of like, I played a game, a one-on-one session with my son last night, where he was in a patrol of 6 Goliaths, which are kind of a PC race, alternate race out of Volo's Guide to Monsters, and they're like a kind of giant kin. They're like, 8 to 8.5 foot tall, kind of humanoid. They speak giant, and they're like I think of them like a cross between a big Klingon and a First Nations kind of character. they're like a kind of a warrior-based society where honour's a big thing. So I run this scenario, and they jump out of their base. I've got them as mountain-dwelling, nomadic hunter-gatherers who do a bit of herding of creatures that you would think in our world would be like goats and yaks, stuff like that. So like a kind of vaguely, I don't know, sort of a little bit Mongolian. You know, there's not an exact comparison in our world, but you know, they're kind of, they keep a herd for food and milk and stuff. So you got these sand trolls that pop out of the ground. They like dig shallow pits, cover themselves over, and then pop out of the ground and kind of attack these Goliath tribesmen, rob their herds, and understandably the herdsmen are not happy about this, so they consult with their gods, and a shaman cast the runes or whatever, and they have a wrestling match to determine who's going to lead the hunting party to go out and wreak vengeance on the sand trolls. So I'm after a mechanic to represent this hunting band, this like sand troll hunting band. So I've got one PC and 5 other similar characters. Now this is when I started thinking about this idea of a mirroring kind of concept. So what happened was they basically, long story short, they tracked down these trolls. These trolls are like subterranean. They're like a reskin of a normal troll, but they kind of burrow underground and they live in these subterranean tunnels. So they've tracked them down, and there's 2 of these trolls and 6 Goliaths, and they're in a face-off. So straight away I thought, right, split the combat into 2 groups, 3 Goliaths, go and take each troll. Seems reasonable. Now, the way I did it was I just said to the PC, my son, right, your group is going to deal with this troll, the other group is going to deal with the other troll. What I never said to him was basically all of the group were going to mirror what he was doing. So if he hit, they hit. And this is what I'm a little bit concerned about, because that makes it very swingy. If he does a lot of bad rolls, they're going to get creamed. So I thought, right, if I divide the troll he's fighting into thirds, I think he needed to do. They got nearly 90. I think they got nearly 90 hit points. So he had to do about 30 damage, and the troll is regenerating about 9 or 10 hit points a turn. So I said that he was dealing with a third of that troll. So each turn, about 3 hit points of that third was recovering. If he hit, generally he was doing about 11 or 12 hit points. So he basically needed to get in like 3 solid hits in a row, and that troll would be taken care of. So it was pretty good. I mean, it was brutal. And the troll deals out a lot of damage, and I just it's got 3 attacks, so I basically kind of just like spread the damage through the 3 that were fighting him, and if I'm honest, I can't exactly remember what I did, but basically it was like this idea of three parties attacking one monster and then sectioning it into like fractions. So if there was three of them, I'd divided it into thirds. If there'd have been four, I'd have like quartered it up. And the other combatants just mirrored what he was doing. So if he hit, they all hit. If he missed, they all missed. I don't know. But result of this was, it's a pretty, it's a good fun session. I didn't have to, he wasn't sitting there whilst I rolled like 5 other attacks and one thing and another. But I'm sure there's a better way of doing it. But that was just one thing that I did recently. I thought I'd throw it out to you guys, and I kind of just, I would welcome feedback on that. This all started because I was reading Into the Odd, and they got a rule for their in detachment. They got a rule in there for detachments where a PC can have like a retinue of guys. I've not played it. I've just read it, and that is like a kind of an abstracted kind of. It's like an abstracted combat mechanic where you've got like this detachment. Basically, there's a leader and like a bunch of guys, and it's kind of like a swarm. And there's some interesting stuff in it. Like they can only be. They don't really suffer from mundane attacks and normal attacks. You have to hit them with some pretty heavy fire to kind of make much of an impression on them and stuff like that. And it just got me. It's not what I'm trying to do, but it got me thinking, if that makes any sense. Okay, so Anchor has just had a meltdown, and I'm back. I've recovered the episode recorded so far, and I will try and pick up where I left off. So regarding the one-on-one gaming, I haven't forgotten about Scarlet Heroes. I'm still kind of processing some of the rules from that. I've downloaded the sort of the free version, the light version of that Glenn mentioned. I can't think of the name of it now. It escapes me. But yeah, I'm checking into that. Also, whilst I'm going to wind up this episode shortly, I notice a few folks haven't done an episode lately. Shane Ward, Gilligan's Isle of ADD. Man, I'm missing you, bro. Hoping you're going to get something out soon. And Goblin Stomper, conspicuous by your absence. Hope everything's cool. I'm assuming you're just busy with other stuff, but yeah, I was really getting into your podcast, and it'd be a shame if you didn't get a few more episodes out, man. Also, Mr. Hobbs, Jason, man, I know you've had a hard time with your Hobbs and friends at the OSR. I've listened to the latest episode. I really enjoyed it, and I got my fingers crossed. Hope you can iron out all the wrinkles and the technicalities and whatnot regarding getting your RSS feed sorted. All the best with that, man. I look forward to hearing some good news on that front soon. And I think I speak for everyone in saying that we all owe you a little bit, man, at least for getting this Anchor thing going, Now, it's Friday night here in the UK, and I'm going to now randomly roll on my Maze Rats table to determine where I'm going to go for my evening's entertainment. So, I have rolled the Ghastly Boot Inn. So, if anybody fancies a few jars at the Ghastly Boot Inn, that is where you will find me this evening. Take care. Look after yourselves. I'll catch you later. Whoops, almost forgot. Thanks to everybody who called in. Thanks to the listeners. And I meant to talk about random encounter tables. I've been doing some random encounter tables, but that will be next episode.